You know, every generation has its own story, right? But for a whole bunch of us, our story, it doesn't kick off with some huge world event. Nope, it starts with a sound. The sound of a school bell. And then, this frantic race against the clock.
And if you're a 90s kid, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This one's for us. It's like this shared memory that's just burned into our brains.
Yup, 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. sharp. The second you got home, right? The school bag just thunk on the floor. Shoes are probably flying off while you're still running. And your entire world, just narrows down to this one single, super urgent mission.
And that mission was getting your hands on the TV remote. That was it. Nothing else mattered, because if you missed that opening theme song, oh man, it felt like you missed the whole thing. It was like the starting gun for an entire evening of just pure, unfiltered imagination.
So where did all that imagination live? Well, it had a home. A place where, let's be honest, the rules of the real world just went out the window. Yep, we're talking about the beautiful, controlled chaos that was Cartoon Network.
I mean, just look at this crew. This lineup says it all, doesn't it? It's the perfect snapshot of the characters that basically raised us. You had the boy genius, the guy who was way too into himself, superpowered little kids, a dog that was scared of his own shadow, and of course, the cat and mouse duo that never said a word. What a lineup.
So let's start with Dexter. You've got this little kid, right, with this enormous secret lab hidden behind a bookshelf in his room. He was all about trying new things, pushing the limits. And yeah, okay, most of the time his experiments literally blew up in his face. But that was the whole point. He taught us that messing up, that failing, wasn't the end. It was just information. It was part of the process. And that's a mindset that, you gotta believe, helped create a whole generation of people, coders, artists, entrepreneurs, who aren't scared to try, fail, and try again.
And then you've got the Powerpuff Girls. Saving the world before their bedtime? I mean, come on. The message there was so powerful, it doesn't matter how small you are, it's about how big your fight is. They showed us you could be tough and still be kind, that you need both. And that's a lesson that sticks with you, whether you're leading a team meeting or just trying to get through the day.
But maybe one of the deepest lessons came from the hero you'd least expect, Courage the Cowardly Dog. This poor dog was scared of everything. I mean, literally everything. And yet, when the chips were down, when his family was in trouble, he never ever ran away. He taught us something huge, that being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you're scared and you do it anyway. That's the kind of resilience we all have to find now, right? For job interviews, for tough talks, for all of it.
So when you put it all together, you take Dexter's curiosity, the Powerpuff Girls' sense of balance, and Courage's resilience, you start to see a pattern emerging. Cartoon Network wasn't trying to raise perfect little kids who followed all the rules. No way. It was raising thinkers, dreamers, and yeah, a whole bunch of us glorious misfits. But the day wasn't over, right? As the afternoon chaos kind of started to fade and evening rolled in, the whole vibe changed. Suddenly, you remember you have homework. The house gets a little quieter, and more often than not, someone changes the channel. And that's when a totally different part of our story began.
Yeah, we're shifting gears now. We're going from the loud, crazy world of Cartoon Network to its much calmer, gentler cousin, Pogo. This channel wasn't about explosions and saving the world. It was about comfort. It was the deep breath at the end of a long day, the calm after the cartoon storm.
And the lessons here, they were just as important, but different. Think about Oswald. The world is always rushing, right? But he taught us about patience, about just taking a minute. He and his little dog Weenie, they'd solve their problems with empathy, not with shouting. It showed us that being kind is actually a superpower. And you saw that same vibe with Naughty, who taught us that it's okay to make mistakes. Or Bob the Builder with that "can we fix it" attitude. That optimism was just contagious. And Show to Beam showed us that real strength is about having your friends' backs. These shows were like a gentle hand on our shoulder, teaching us the quiet stuff.
And then, well, we grew up. The TV screen got a lot smaller, but our lives, they got a whole lot louder. But here's the crazy part. The lessons from both of those worlds, the chaotic one and the calm one, they didn't just disappear. They stuck around. They actually became part of who we are.
I mean, look at this. It's basically a curriculum for being an adult. We learned how to question things from Dexter, how to find balance from the Powerpuff Girls, how to be resilient because of Courage, and how to stay optimistic from Bob the Builder.
These weren't just TV shows, you guys. They were our first teachers.
And those lessons, they became like instincts. So now, as adults, when life gets chaotic, that inner Cartoon Network kid in us knows how to just roll with it and adapt. When something seems totally broken, that little voice of Bob the Builder in our head goes, well, can we fix it? And when we get scared, really scared, our inner courage tells us to just stay. And when it all gets to be too much, when the world is just too loud, our inner Oswald reminds us to just breathe. Find that calm.
So what does all this add up to? All these shared memories, all these lessons we soaked up without even realizing it, they became something so much bigger than just cartoons. They became the soundtrack to our childhood, the anthem for our generation. It's the story that connects all of us, no matter where we ended up.
So what about today? I mean, we're all grown up now. We're scattered all over the place with jobs and bills and all that adult stuff. Does that connection, that shared story, even still exist?
Oh, absolutely it does. You know it. All it takes is one theme song, just one. Play the intro to Dexter's Lab or the Powerpuff Girls or any of them, and boom. Instantly, we're all 8 years old again, sitting right there on the living room floor, eyes glued to the screen, back in a time when the world felt huge, but somehow totally manageable.
Think about it. Cartoon Network gave us our imagination. Pogo gave us our heart. When you put them together, well, these channels didn't just make a bunch of viewers who would grow up and move on. No, they raised a generation. And that's a story that belongs to every single one of us 90s kids who, let's be honest, still gets a huge smile on our face whenever we hear one of those theme songs.